Okay, well, to be mindful of everyone's time, we'll go ahead and jump in and get started. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for the Montgomery County 2021 Local Advisory Council update. My name is Krissy DeAlejandro. I'm the Executive Director of tnAchieves. Thrilled that you have made time to join me today for this important update. I will say I'm sad that we're not together in person, but glad that we can do this virtually. This is meant to be a conversation, not a presentation. So please, at any time, feel free to interrupt me with questions or points of clarification. You can also interrupt to provide any feedback. We love feedback at tnAchieves. So again, just thrilled that you are here, and we're going to jump right in. It's important, I believe, to always remind our stakeholders that although tnAchieves partners with the state to operate Tennessee Promise in 90 of the 95 counties, we are a 501c3 nonprofit governed by a board of directors. And so incredibly important to us to keep in mind that while we do work very closely with the state, we are raising dollars privately for operations. We launched in one county, Knox County, in 2008. And since that time have had versions of our mission spreading across Tennessee. When we launched in 2008, 493 students applied for our program. So it's always a little mind-blowing to me, the fact that we've nearly now served 450,000 students across the state and have recruited and trained nearly 72,000 volunteers to work with our students. So as I said, working closely with the state to ensure that students are meeting those critical Tennessee Promise scholarship milestones. But we are so much more than the operator of Tennessee Promise. We recruit those volunteers that I mentioned earlier. That's the heart of the program. We serve about 90,000 students every year and have 31 members on our team. And so without mentors, this lift feels just unimaginable and impossible. And so I also really love the localness of our volunteer mentoring program. We also are rooted in community service. Cultivating a culture of giving back is incredibly important to us, and we continue to promote what we feel like to be one of the pillars of tnAchieves to all our students. I'm happy to report that we do ask students when they submit their community service and they enjoy it, if they enjoy it, and 96% report that they in fact do like community service. So it's always sort of a swirl around community service that it might be a burden, but our students tell us time and again that they do enjoy the community service aspect. In 2012, we lifted up a pilot summer bridge program at Pellissippi State Community College in an effort to address remediation concerns. That program has now been spread to 17 campuses across the state. Montgomery County had a new summer bridge program this year, so we were thrilled to bring that program into your backyard. It has an 88% success rate of students either testing out of remediation or dramatically improving their test scores. And most importantly to me, 15% told us they felt prepared prior to the program. And after the program, 97% shared that they felt prepared for post-secondary. So it's academic and also social support for our students. We also engineered a homegrown online summer bridge program this year for our students who felt uncomfortable traveling to a campus. This program saw an enormous amount of success. We also have, serving the Memphis Urban Core, a program that we call Summer Institute. It is a more intensive, holistic summer program. And I'm happy to report that this year we had a 100% success rate among participants. Students not only tested out of remediation, but also left with 9 credit hours. So those students who would have began college behind actually started ahead of their peers, and we're hoping to spread this program across the state. We, several years ago, because the data continued to show us that our most economically disadvantaged students tended to be the first to leave the college pipeline. And so we created a program called Complete. It is a proactive coaching model where tnAchieves staff members work alongside students to eliminate non-academic barriers, preventing them from earning a college credential. And that program is also seeing an incredible amount of success. And I would be remiss if I did not share the fact that we send 10 million emails every year and about 6 million text messages. This is to ensure that students are receiving all pertinent information to retain their promise eligibility. It's nudging them to meet with their coach. It's nudging them to work with their mentors, and all sorts of information in between. But it's personalized and it's targeted. And I can tell you we've come a long way since we first launched the program in 2008 in terms of information that we are able to provide students and families in near real time. 90 counties, as I said, under the tnAchieves umbrella. 74% are rural, 35 are considered at risk or distressed, and then we work with about 601 high schools every year. There are 67 colleges under the Tennessee Promise umbrella. 79% of our students are attending a community college. 11% are enrolling at our technical colleges. And important to Montgomery County, 10% of our students are enrolling at a 4-year institution offering an associate's degree program like Austin P. 90,000 students, as I've said, 60,000 of that 90 being our high school seniors that we assume ownership of in November of the high school senior year. I love the fact that 89% of all high school seniors throughout the state are coming through our program. I think it's incredibly important for those students to have some pathway to post-secondary, and our school counselors do an amazing job of providing not only that plan A, but that plan B for many of our students as well. The 89% then translates into 78% of all first-time, full-time freshmen at our community colleges being a tnAchieves student. And most importantly to me, we also are making up 86% of their college graduates. 56% of our students are considered economically disadvantaged as measured by federal Pell eligibility. 40% identify as the first person in their family to attend college. And then recently, I presented to the National Science Board, and their members asked if we knew what percentage of our students were majoring in STEM or health-related fields. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that the number was 51%. I love that students are engaging in majors that matter. Of that 51%, 27% fall into the health-related field. And for me, I think about our workforce partners who are in desperate need of nurses at the moment. And so again, knowing that our students are finding a path that matters for a long-term sustaining career. $32 million being spent each year on Tennessee Promise scholarships, with an additional $2.5 million being raised for operating costs. So to dig into Montgomery County numbers, you can see here Montgomery County right on pace with the state average at an 83% free application for federal student aid or FAFSA completion rate. Again, thanks to some amazing school counselors and a lot of coordination between K-12, tnAchieves, the state, and our post-secondary partners. To benchmark, for those of you who are not in the higher education space, most states would be thrilled to reach 50%, and our state continues to lead the country in FAFSA completion. Our board chairman, Randy Boyd, says that tnAchieves is the largest community service program in the state. I'm not exactly sure if that's true, but you can see here our students have given back nearly 3.4 million hours of community service since inception. with Montgomery County students providing 68,000 of those hours. So a significant lift in Montgomery County alone. Thinking through some additional Montgomery County numbers to walk you through this chart, you can see here Montgomery County doing a really great job, again, ensuring that students are completing the Tennessee Promise application. You can also see from application to enrollment at a Tennessee Promise eligible institution, 388 students falling into that category. This 388 would not reflect students who were attending non-Promise eligible institutions. So if the student attends MTSU or some University of Tennessee, colleges that fall outside of Promise eligibility, it would not be reflected in that 388 number. Keeping right on pace with the state average with a 68% first-year retention rate, but slightly below the statewide average in terms of three-year graduation rate. We should dig into that number to see if that's a function of students jumping to a four-year institution or to a bachelor's degree program prior to earning their associate's degree, but something certainly to be mindful of and to think about as we continue to dig into Montgomery County. Zooming out again, so as I said, Montgomery County at a 68% fall to fall retention, a college freshman at our state's community colleges averaging at 53%. So again, 53 to 68, a significant increase for Montgomery County students participating with the Tennessee Achieves program. You can also see here a benchmark on our 6-year graduation rate. The state community colleges sitting at 35% versus Tennessee Achieves students at 51%. Supports matter very much in this space. And while we are not thrilled with 51%, we've come a long way since I began working with this program 13 years ago, but still a lot of work to do. To give you a brief outline on the impact of the programs that I discussed earlier, summer programs seeing a first year increase in retention of 34%. Our coaching model complete, first year retention increasing by 23%. And Knox Promise, a pilot thanks to the Haslam Family Foundation that we have been operating in Knox County for the last 3 years, increasing first year retention by 42%. Just to give you sort of a brief overview of Knox Promise, currently about 14% of students are coached by a Tennessee Achieves Complete coach. All economically disadvantaged students falling under that umbrella versus Knox Promise, where regardless of income, you receive a coach. So we have 5 Tennessee Achieves coaches working with Knox County students. They also have access to completion grant funding or emergency aid, and we believe those two combined are powerhouses in terms of high impact practices, and the reason we're seeing that 42% increase in retention. So here's the sombering slide. This is my call to action for all 90 communities that we're having this conversation with. You can see in 2014, 2015, that large jump in college going rate that has been erased in many ways in 2020 with the effects of COVID. This is something that I feel like a time of all hands on deck. This can change, and I believe very strongly that we can get back to where we were and then add from there. But it is going to take a lot of work. You can see here Montgomery County specifically dropping to just above a 50% college going rate. We have started working with a group of individuals from K-12 and post-secondary in Montgomery County under the Greater Together umbrella. And I'm really excited about conversations we're having with this group of leaders. I would be remiss if I did not talk to you about our volunteer mentoring program. The role for the class of 2022 mentors will remain the same: to be a task manager, ensuring students are meeting critical deadlines, to be a resource at answering questions that students may have, and then finally, and most importantly, to be an encourager, helping normalize the college experience for students and encouraging them along the way. The delivery method will be a bit different in 2022. First, every mentor will continue to have access to Tennessee Achieves Connect, our online mentoring platform that we spent a lot of time and resource on last summer. I love the fact that all the student information is in one place. I can video chat with my students. I can just chat via the keyboard with my students. But this near real-time data updates that's being provided in one place, being pulled from lots of different places, I do believe is a game changer for our mentors in terms of the information that they are privy to on their students. It's also, we will also offer open houses, excuse me, open houses this year at our post-secondary institutions in April and March. These open houses are meant to be impactful meetings between mentors and students, but also hearing from the college where many of our students are hoping to attend. And we're working on the logistics for that now. And then finally, the third option for many of our mentors will be one-on-one meetings with their students. Mentors have been doing this at Tennessee Achieves for the last 13 years, but we've never promoted it in an intentional way. I will say no student in the car and always meeting in a public place will be our two caveats, but we're excited to continue to think through best practices around a meaningful relationship between students and mentors. Our mentor application is live now and will close on December 3rd. You can see we need 258 mentors needed in Montgomery County, so the push is on. For those of you who've never mentored, there's a new mentor application on our website, and we will follow up with training. For those who have mentored in the past, you simply need to let us know that you're interested again, and we will get you well on your way to working with the class of 2022. So next steps, how can you become involved, be a mentor, share the mentor story with your colleagues, with your friends, with your family? This year, I believe, will be more important than any other year we've ever had in the college going space. So mentorship matters, and sharing that story will be incredibly important. I believe Tennessee Achieves is where it is today because we always say yes to open doors. So if we can share not only the mentor story, but just really be transparent about where we are and how we're doing with students in Montgomery County, please open those doors to us. We love traveling to our communities and sharing our story with those who are invested in education. And then finally, the Tennessee Promise application for students is open. So if you know of a class of 2022 senior, please make sure that they understand this application needs to be completed no later than November 1st. This is my contact information, my cell phone, my email. Please feel free at any time to reach out with feedback, with comments, with questions, and know that anyone at Tennessee Achieves will be happy to answer your questions for you. I'm going to stop sharing now and provide an opportunity for any questions or feedback at this point. Okay, well, seeing none, please feel free to reach out at any time. And I'm very thankful for you who continues to wake up and invest in our students, and I appreciate your time today. Have a great Thursday. Thanks.